time. The whole sequence is as 80 as it comes. Plus, after winning the day, the aliens start playing another classic Rhema hit called Get Out and Dance. And so you get to enjoy that too. And it also kicks off one of the best scenes in the movie.
Diane, all alone, in a dark hallway, in hidey high, when all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Chainsaw emerges. He begins to chase her. Diane, she tries to hide, but Chainsaw, he finds her. Diane flees, finding herself trapped in the music room. Chainsaw approaches slowly, revving his machine, menacing. When all of a sudden the belt slips and he's no longer able to saw her to bits, he gets frustrated, throws his chainsaw to the ground, which upsets Diane, because she's a mechanic, goddammit. So she scolds him, and then she offers to help him fix it.
Right. Yeah. She offers to help him fix it, and this might be the point where I just fell in love with this movie. When Diane pulls out a set of tools from her purse and starts fixing the chainsaw for the maniac that's been trying to chase and kill her. And honestly, had this plot thread ended there, I could have died happy. But no. We are so fortunate that we will actually get to catch up with the two of them shortly, so look forward to that. But for now, we're going to go back to Dee Dee and Absid, where we get a little exposition dump explaining the whole lake pollution situation, and with it, I guess, the lake monster. You should also get a shot of the lake monster's tentacle here as it begins to approach the school. Dee Dee and Absid walk along the beach while Absid explains the whole alien thing, which Dee Dee is not too concerned about, deciding to run off with Absid in hopes of starting an interstellar band. It's very marketable. She follows him back to the dropship teleporter phone booth so she can beam upward to the ship with him, telling him about some of her prior career ambitions, which really tells us a lot about Dee Dee. Some of these ambitions being a bomber pilot, maybe even a politician, or a nun. And this is where Absid asks her to come back to his home planet with him, a proposition that Dee Dee is very excited about until she learns about the emolectomy. Back on Earth, meanwhile, Frankie is in a desperate attempt to try and get Dee Dee back, so he decides to break up the band, telling everyone that the pack is no more. He then goes back to school, opens up his locker, and I really love it. His locker is actually a quad locker. It is 4 lockers all attached together, all lined with red felt and a giant picture of Dee Dee, which Frankie is pining over, and it leads to one of the most epic music montages of all time, in which a half-naked Craig Sheffer struts around outside in what looks like the Dishman Hills area, doing weirdly outdoorsy poses and exercises, sometimes by himself, sometimes with 2 girls dressed as cats, all of course intermixed with shots of a live cougar. Yes, before he re-enters the school with this cougar, walking along with it down the hallway of the school. Back on the ship, Dee Dee learns what an emolectomy is. It's just a minor operation to take away emotion, which, of course, concerns Dee Dee. She asks, "What about love?" And she learns that there is no love on Absid's planet. That's where she gets the real heart of the matter, and she just straight up asks, "Well, if there's no love, well, what about sex?" To which Absid assures her, there's nothing to worry about. The people on his planet have sex almost 7 days a week. Almost on Monday, almost on Tuesday. And this is the real deal breaker, of course. Learning that there's no Nobbin on Absid's home planet, Dee Dee ditches the whole intergalactic superstardom dream and jumps back into the teleporter to return to Earth and that hunky Craig Sheffer down there. We return to Diane and Chainsaw. She's still helping him with his tool, right? Still helping him repair it. Still just cranking that wrench. The lake monster, meanwhile, is quickly engulfing the school, while the breather is chasing down Frankie. Frankie quickly defends himself with a knife, and we actually get our first on-screen kill here as the breather short-circuits himself, electrocuting himself to death. Diane finally fixes Chainsaw's chainsaw, and he asks her to do him the honors of giving it the first pull. It's so cute. And she does. She pulls the chainsaw, starts it up, and just hands the chainsaw back to him, which he promptly uses to cut a big hole right in the wall right next to her, in the same room in which Dee Dee and Frankie are fighting the lake monster. Now an ally, Chainsaw fights the lake monster back, cutting the tip off of one of its tentacles and causing it to retreat back to Lake Erie. After the confrontation, Diane asks Chainsaw if he wants to go for a little walk, and he's instantly down. He puts down his chainsaw and we establish one of the cutest relationships in movie history. Frankie and Dee Dee embrace. Frankie decides to let Dee Dee sing with her finally, and the aliens go back to their ship to find it trashed by a member of the pack. But the aliens forgive him. They send him back home, and they use some alien juju magic to fix a few problems back in Spielberg. They turn all the members of the pack into Boy Scouts, the sheriff and her deputy into windsurfing advocates for gay rights. We finish with one final lip sync of When the Rain Begins to Fall, this time with Frankie and Dee Dee, as we watch the lake monster try to hitch a ride to Loch Ness, while the aliens blast off in their guitar ship back to their home planet. Stay tuned for our exclusive interview with Mark Jackson and Jeff Casey coming up next.